We're sitting here,
Yeah.
and right behind you is the iconic 24 car, which everybody knows the history of that car prior to you getting in it, and now you're in it. But your path to get there, it was a little bit different than most.
Yeah, I started racing on iRacing, which is kind of unique and very different than other guys start racing. You know, I didn't run go-karts as a kid. I didn't really grow up in a racing family, so I was just so passionate about racing in general that I wanted to get involved in the driving side of it. And that came later when I was 14 or 15 years old, but thankfully I had iRacing to use as a platform to get started and hone my skills.
William Byron's a great story from our perspective because, I'll be honest, we didn't know anything about him. He was the one that told the story about how he used iRacing at home and was proving to be really good at it, and his dad took notice and said, you know what, why don't we get a Legends car and we'll go try this for real.
That bump in turn one, that bump is, I mean, that's right where it is on the racetrack.
I mean, most of the track layout stuff's exactly the same, which is really helpful if you're going to the racetrack for the first time.
So the simple fact that we're shifting, that's kind of, like I wouldn't have guessed that we would have had to do that when we started this. Based on the video games I've played in the past. There's iRacing and there's video games. What's generally the difference between the two?
Yeah, so iRacing's more of a simulator. It's not as much of a game, I think. They always say that, you know, guys that race iRacing all the time want to say how it's a simulator, not a game.
We are not a video game. You know, Gran Turismo, Forza, you buy one of those games in the store, you take it home and you run it on your console, you're going to play that for 20 or 30 hours. What's really unique about our product is that people spend hundreds of hours on our product because it's not easy.
It's really more of a tool. It's kind of like a flight simulator. It's more of something you use to hone your skills at a higher level instead of just going on there and picking up a controller.
Oh, you ran me up the track.
That was a pretty good race.
What was different from the iRacing in terms of when you got loose or when you got tight when you were in the real car?
Honestly, in some ways it was easier. And that sounds crazy, but you could feel the car more.
That doesn't sound crazy. It makes me kind of curious, though.
Yeah, you could feel the car more, and in person I had that extra, or I had extra skills to use or extra senses to kind of use in the car. So my sense of smell you don't have on iRacing, and your sense of, I guess, feel and danger and fear factor is not there.
I guess the fact that you think that the real cars are easier than the iRacing, that tells us why you're having the level of success that you are at this point right now.
Byron jumps to the lead on the restart.
He's so nervous, he knows how close he is to his first win at this moment.
Career win number one for William Byron comes at Iowa.
Baby!
What a night for William Byron.
Towards the end of that season, the announcement's made. You're going to the 24 car.
There was a big announcement earlier this week out of Hendrick Motorsports. 19-year-old William Byron will now occupy that car for the 2018 season.
There's a lot of pressure that comes with hopping in the 24 car.
Driving the Cup car itself is obviously a challenge, but I knew, you know, I just trusted my instinct, kind of trusted what I've done to get to this point. So, you know, the boss didn't really put that much pressure on me. Mr. Hendrick kind of told me to just go out there and make sure I can learn this year. You were running, that was like you ran half second faster than you ever did. Right there.
That's your way of saying bless his heart before you say you suck. When you look at iRacing and you look at the impact it had on your career, and yes, you had to go learn the driving aspect of it, but it's what kind of got you started. What role do you think it's going to play in kids coming up through in the future?
I think it's huge. I think it's probably the next innovation for racing. Or I think there's going to be more data, more chances to understand what's happening inside the race car. And I think where you see that in F1 is guys, they're taking them off the development teams and putting them right into the real cars just because of the data they see that they're able to produce. So I think you're going to understand who has talent, who doesn't, a lot quicker. And that's going to make for iRacing to be a bigger platform.
It always feels good to be back home in Indiana again. Legends live here, History lives here. Indy lives here. Is there a better place to fulfill championship dreams at than the place where dreams come true? Tonight, we begin the march to crown a champion, and we'll do it live, now. Hello, and welcome to the Global Sim Racing Channel's presentation of the AdPro 360 Cup Series playoffs, tonight from Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Far trip up to the press box tonight to bring you all the action. Yours truly here, Sean Ambrose, and my partner in crime, Tanner Sharp. In the director's chair over there, Mr. Joe Peak, armed with cameras located, aimed, zoomed, and focused by GSRC's camera guru, Dougie Beard. Let's get ready over these next few minutes as GSRC will bring you all the storylines and all the stats and facts you'll need to fully appreciate the simulated NASCAR Cup racing that will immediately follow. Before we get started, let me remind everyone, let me tell you now, not remind you, but tell you now that tonight's race is the Impact 200 here in the AdPro 360 Cup Series. And Impact, business process optimization for growing companies. Their in-house expert teams design strategic and cost-effective solutions for information and document workflow in the workplace. Your business goals serve as a basis for their solution design. Their analysts leverage a unique mix of process improvement methodologies and technology to achieve organizational efficiency. Go check out their website at impactmybiz.com. Tanner, time to hit the bricks here at IMS. This legendary facility is no small task. What are the drivers facing tonight, buddy?
Oh boy, this racetrack, this legendary speedway really needs no introduction, whether you're a race fan or not. I mean, everybody knows what Indianapolis Motor Speedway is. It hosts the Indianapolis 500 every Memorial Day weekend, and it also has hosted NASCAR events such as the Cup Series since 1994. It opened up in 1909 and has 4 turns. It's a 2.5 miles super speedway, as I like to call it, because it's over 2 miles. And it has 9 degrees of banking in each section of the racetrack. But what these drivers are going to be facing tonight, and every legendary driver, whether it was an IndyCar or NASCAR, has hit these famed walls. Turn 2 is going to be a nail biter. Do not let your car go out to the wall, otherwise it can just slap and knock out the toe of your car. Turn 4 is relatively the same way, so watch out for your corner exits. Don't overdrive the corner, and don't get on the gas too early. So the best way to get an idea what it's like to get around the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, let's hop on board the GSRC Monster Energy Cup Series Gen 6 Chevrolet and take a lap.
Hello everyone and welcome to the Global Sim Racing Channel. I'm Brian Yazik, taking you for a spin around the Brickyard, the Indianapolis Motor Speedway today in the GSRC Chevrolet SS. Indianapolis is a track that needs no introduction at all. Just saying the name of the place brings back all sorts of amazing racing memories to anybody that has motor oil in their blood. So, for your guide around the Indianapolis Motor Speedway in this big, heavy stock car, here we go. Under the start-finish line, looking for about the 1 on the wall as your brake marker. Let it float in here to the entrance of the corner. Pick up the throttle a little bit. Let it roll back off through the short chute here. Turn 2 is very, very tricky. So you have to really find the bottom again. Halfway into the gas, back into the gas. Watch that wheel spin off the corner. Car will get very, very loose. Down the long backstretch here at Indy. Plenty of time to see turn 3 coming at you. Trying to figure out your mark. Once again, look for that 1 on the wall as your braking point and let it float down into the corner. You hook those left side tires right underneath that white line. Don't catch the rumble strips as that'll make it loose. Turn 4, same situation. Let it float in, pick up the gas, roll through the center and off, and watch that wheel spin on exit. Back down the front stretch, across the yard of bricks, back down into turn 1 again. Looking for that 1, let it float in, onto the brake a little bit to let the nose set on the car, back into the gas, right on the exit. You're going to roll into the throttle. You're not going to just mash the gas down and let it stick. You really have to play a delicate balance here with the throttle at Indianapolis in this big, heavy car. Back down the back stretch again. On your left is the Brickyards Crossings Golf Course. Fun fact for you. Turn 3, Back at the one sign, let it float down, hook those left side tires at or right about the white line, float it back out to the wall, turn 4 again, back down, right to the rumble strips and out. Coming down the start-finish line once again, the start-finish line straight, fans to the left and to the right, the big pagoda looking you on across the yard of bricks. That is going to complete our track guide around the Indianapolis Motor Speedway and the GSRC Chevrolet SS. I'm Brian Yazik. Enjoy the show.
Back from another GSRC lap guide here, and well, Tanner, you know, before we actually look at the standings in a detailed event, let's why don't we look at qualifying here for just a moment. Cars out on track now. They are doing the single qualifying format this evening, and everybody basically out there qualifying based on their time from practice. That's how they slotted them. And right now on screen, we're looking at Gary Sexton, who's, I believe, working on his first lap right now, actually. This isn't his out lap. I think he's going for his time now. Richard Regan just went, oh, and there is Gary's time. Gary goes to second behind Andrew Payne right now. Great lap for Gary. It didn't last long, though. David Washington moves up to the top there in seconds. It's Andrew Payne sitting on a provisional pole right now with a 49.7. Washington just threw up a 49.8, and Sexton had that 49.9, and that's where everybody sits behind him now as Washington is pulled off. You see Daniel Eberhardt is going to go ahead and make his way out and start taking his lap around. Several drivers, in fact, I'm seeing, looks like about 12 drivers have taken a time already, Tanner, but not all of them have taken 2 laps.
Yeah, usually here to Indianapolis, believe it or not, the tires can wear off pretty dang quick, especially in the stock cars at Indianapolis. Unlike I'm not sure how much the tire wear is on an Indy car. I don't know if you've had any experience with that, Sean. But I know here in the stock car, it wears off pretty quick. Usually the first lap's going to be your fastest lap time that you can really pull off when you hit your marks, because you're out there doing the qualification time, so you are abusing the tires a little bit. I'm seeing Ryan Hill out there right now trying to get actually, I think he's on his warm-up lap. He's down in turns 3 and 4, or turn 4, I should say. But the driver I want to keep an eye on as far as qualification time, he's down in turn 1. He started his first lap, and that's Daniel Eberhardt. This guy has been fast, but he is not in the playoffs. But that doesn't mean that he could try to go out and race for honor and try to go for a win here at Indy. And what a way to get a win here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway and put that on your resume.
Well, and you know what? You talked about the tires here. You mentioned the 9 degrees of banking. That's about as big a factor on the tires as anything, Tanner. Not a lot of cushion there, if you will. So you're really, really scrubbing those things off really bad. Oh, Eberhardt really makes a mistake out of the turn, and that throws him right down to the pit lane. That hurts.
Oh. Yeah, I wonder if he looked like he got a little, actually, what was slapping the wall. We talked about that at the top of the show here, Sean. Is hitting that wall on the outside wall, and it just sends you towards the inside.
Yeah, that was a real cruncher. Man, you know, we haven't talked about the weather. It honestly might be a good opportunity to take to look at it here real quick. It's 98 degrees on track. It's only 71 degrees outside, but partly cloudy and a track that's heating up. And you know what? The wind, it's gusting right now. And north at about 18 miles an hour, that really could affect your lap more than anything getting down the back straight or the front straight for that matter.
Man, when these guys go around the racetrack or start the race, you're going to be around a pack of cars. The air moves around just as much without the gust of wind. But when you add that gust of wind to the cars and they're right next to each other, it's going to be cars are just going to be kind of dancing all over the place, you know, trying to fight for position. And you talked about the banking of the racetrack. It's 9 degrees of banking. That's not a whole lot of leeway. Realistically, that's only going to create one groove of racing, and that's the bottom side of the racetrack, which is going to make it for difficult passing tonight.
Yeah, and that's what we wonder. Okay, now how's this going to shake out tonight? We're going to see some basically pack racing, or are they all going to spread out, get in a line, and everybody gets separated by 2 or 3 seconds? I don't know. We'll see. A lot to figure out there. But listen, why don't we go ahead and look at the points going into the playoffs right now, and take a moment to examine that, as it seems like things have slowed down on track just a little bit there, Tanner. And as we get to that here, I'm getting to my notes, and Andrew Farnyars, of course, who has been dominant all season, gets into the playoffs. Look at the bonus points he picked up, Tanner. 62 championship points towards this playoff. He's still going to be hard to catch. David Washington sits there with 18, Ryan Hill 10, and Dylan Jones with 8, and everybody else left behind there, Regan, Kyle Kammer, Stanford, they make it in on their points. And, the remaining 4, Sexton, Payne, William Moore, and Locklear, all looking to pick up points tonight. Listen, this is the first round, and 12 drivers in the first round. When we move to the second round in 4 races, it will be down to 8 left in this championship. And you win a race, guess what? You're in, Tanner. But why don't we go ahead and talk about the details of the event this evening that we've got in front of us here?
Yeah, absolutely, Sean. You've talked about this is the first race of round 1 of the playoff system. It's a 7-race playoff system, 2 rounds of 6, then final round of the championship race. The setups tonight that these drivers will be using is a fixed setup, so every single driver is using the same setup with an 80% fuel load. And yes, of course, there are tire alignments, which means there has been 5 sets delivered to each single team with 4 of them starting on the car. 2 cause incidents from a driver will get a disqualification. And of course, iRacing didn't implement it, but the series implemented it, a green-white checkered system. Yes, if the race finishes under a yellow flag, the top 10 drivers will have 1 attempt for a green-white checkered, going green after the pace car pulls from the victory lap.
Well, Tanner, I'll tell you what, man, 80 laps here tonight at Indianapolis Motor Speedway, and well, we are segment racing, of course. This format here all season. Tonight, 80 laps though, 200 miles here in the Impact 200. This is going to be fun. Looks like most of the drivers have wrapped up qualifying. There's still what I see. 4 cars that haven't set a time: Jesse Abraham, Alan Elwood, Daniel Eberhardt. Of course, we saw the trouble he had, and Eric Stanford not getting times in yet. So with a little over 6 minutes left here, I think we'll go ahead and take a quick break here while they get things sorted out here on the Global Sim Racing channel. We'll be right back in a few. And we're back for the Impact 200 from Indianapolis Motor Speedway. They are on the grid, and everybody getting ready now. But first, we are going to award the Sim Speed Shop Pole Award, and that's going to Andrew Farnyars tonight. He's hot. He won a couple weeks ago in Darlington, and he's ready to go again tonight. But the round 18 winner of that Sim Speed Shop Pole Award is going to get $5 And, of course, the driver with the most poles at the end of the season earns 20, courtesy of SimSpeedShop.com, a great place to order custom button boxes as well as buy and sell used equipment. For more information, go to SimSpeedShop.com. Tanner, why don't we go ahead and take a look at the starting order for tonight's race here in Indianapolis. And on the pole, it's going to be Andrew Farnyards. We just gave him the money. And he's gonna. We've shown him the money, and now he's gonna look for the checkered flag tonight from the pole. Andrew Payne going to start on his outside at number 93. Dylan Jones will start the second row on the inside, flanked by Kyle Kammer starting in fourth. Then we'll go to row 3. It's going to be David Washington in the number 98, and Gary Sexton in the number 13. He starts in that 6th place position. Richard Regan is going to start row 4 on the inside of Ryan Hill. The Hill Coast Chevrolet will start 8th. And row 5 is going to be Jay Queen in the number 62. Chris Scala running that Dave Marcus throwback tonight, the number 71. He will start 10th. Tanner.
Yeah, starting outside the top 10 and 11th tonight is Mr. Luis Salmaso in the 04. He'll be side-by-side with the number 23 of Ethan Moore, who's going to start in 12th. Mark Leewell will start in 13th tonight. Judd Danielson will start in 14th. Ken Richardson is going to start in the 15th position. William Locklear, the last driver to take a qualification time, he will start in 16th. Zach Nichols is officially going to start 17th here tonight. Eric Stanford will start 18th. Daniel Eberhardt had a miscue on his qualifying efforts after coming off turn number 4. He's going to have to start from 19th position here tonight, but I'm sure he can get up towards the front. Time will tell. Alan Elwood is another driver. I think he can get up to the front. He'll start in 20th. And rounding out the top 21 cars here tonight, Jesse Abraham.
Tanner, let's face it, Andrew Farnyards he's been strong all season. He's been a tough car to beat when he's been here. He's maybe had a little bad luck at times, but this is Indy. Things can get a little different here. It's a very, very tricky track. It's a tricky track to run in traffic in, especially in the turns. It's not like running a Daytona or a Talladega where you can get up side by side with somebody and work that side draft. You really don't want to the side draft's not going to help you here. You get a little too close and someone's going to wind up in the wall. David Washington back there in 5th this evening. He's in the Camel machine, which to GSRC fans might think that's Camel GT. No, there used to be something called a Camel cigarette. Actually, not used to be. It's still a cigarette now I think about it. But that a bit of a throwback scheme. It escapes me who ran that at one point in NASCAR. But several of the guys running throwback schemes on their cars. I had a little bit left over from Darlington. But as our director mentioned earlier, there were actually some pretty cool ones. But here we go. As the Ford Mustang pace car gets ready to pull off of turn 4 and into the pit lane, Andrew Farnyards is going to get him started. Waiting for that green flag, and now he's going to start to pick up the throttle a little bit. No, not yet. He holds up the field. Now the green flag is out. Andrew Farnyards gets this race started tonight. The Impact 200, Indianapolis Motor Speedway. We are mean and green down into turn 1. Side-by-side racing, a little bit of contact back there. I saw Jake Queen, maybe a little bit of contact with Ethan Moore. Already going to the top. The number 93, Andrew Payne. It's three wide now down the backstretch.
Oh, man, I tell you what, drivers squirming down this back straightaway, really snaking their way around. They're still 3 wide as they head down towards turn number 3. Vehicles just backing up. The biggest loser probably Kyle Kammer. And there was another bigger loser than that. Who was that on the outside layer that really checked it up coming off turn number 2? Trying to figure who that was.
Is that Washington you were watching there?
It was the number 93. That was Andrew Payne, actually.
Andrew Payne.
Backed up.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, lap 1 in the books. Andrew Farnyards already off to a decent run. He's dropped Dylan Jones in second by about half a second. David Washington a full second back from that. He's back with the rest, already being hunted down by Richard Regan in the number 46. Andrew Payne trying to hold on to that draft down the back stretch. And much like a Daytona or Talladega, you don't want to lose that draft here, Tanner.
No, not really. It doesn't really play too much of a significant role. It's just it's really the matter of hitting your marks in the corner. If you hit it just right to where somebody else does not, you can gain the big run on that momentum on corner exit and really gain that speed down the straightaway. That's where you're really going to gain on a guy. Yes, you could use a draft, but that's if you're right behind him and you're using it just like Mark Freewell. He just used the draft coming off the corner just a little bit, trying to get side by side. Oh man, they're really getting messy back here. There's some 3 wide situations like Daniel Eberhard. And I think that was Alan Elwood that's trying to make up some ground in the early stages of this race here. Man, what a sketchy start to this race, Sean.
Yeah, and unfortunately, something went wrong for Zach Nichols. That car in the pits and behind the wall already. So I don't think he even got started or got a lap in. Ken Richardson getting by Judd Danielson. Danielson, I think, with a problem. He's fallen off. He's already dropped 2 spots. Elwood just gets by him successfully.
Elwood's certainly shown some strength in the early portion of this race this evening. I mean, I did say at the top of the show during the grid that Elwood and Eberhard will be the 2 drivers, are the ones to watch trying to make up towards the front. But I do see some front-end nose damage from the start of that race for Eberhard, which is actually slowing down his straightaway speed a little bit. He started 19th, currently in 18th, has not really gone anywhere. Right now he's trying to push the pressure on Eric Stanford, but cannot get the run on the corner exit. So Alan Elwood is probably the biggest guy on the move at the moment, but the biggest loser right now, I should say. I don't want to call him a loser or anything like that, but that is Jay Queen in the 62 car after starting 9th and backing up to 13th.
Yeah, a rough start there for Queen. Kyle Kammer's another one that's dropped several spots here early. And, of course, Andrew Payne started right up there up front and already back to 5th. So guys moving and shaking through the field here, but man, they've pretty much gone line and stern throughout the field here, and it looks like everybody is settled in for this first segment. We haven't even talked about the stages yet this evening. It's 20 for the first stage. It's going to be 20 for the second stage, and then we're going to roll out 40 laps for the third stage. And the fuel window on the cars is about 24 to 28 laps, so you're going to be okay for those first couple stages. But going to need a little bit of strategy to get this thing done there in the third stage.
Daniel Eberhard has brought his car to the pits. It's been already a rough day for even during qualifying and the race already for Eberhard. He's down there getting the nose all fixed up, patched up. Did not take any tires, obviously, because each team is given a set of tires. So Eberhard, he actually may go a lap down. Now, when you pit under green here, you can actually remain on the lead lap after a green flag pit stop. However, in this situation for Eberhard, he may go, and he's already a lap down. So it's been already a rough going for Eberhard.
You know what? I'm up front following Dylan Jones right now, and you know, Andrew Farnyards hasn't opened up any more than we first talked about the start of the race. It's still right at about half a second. And Jones wheeling his Ford around here pretty well right now. The Windex-sponsored No Scrubs machine definitely looks good here early. Jones just kind of following the leader a bit. And guess what? He's clear behind right now because Washington... Regan, they're not making any ground on him right now. Regan actually back there looking for an opportunity here. And yeah, Washington's going to drop to the bottom. Richard Regan's going to go ahead and come on by. I think Washington's kind of pulled over, let him go there.
Yeah, hey man, I mean it's early in the race right now, but I tell you what, if you're gonna make Homestead and challenge for that championship to Andrew Farnyards, it has to start tonight. I mean, you have to get as much stage points as you can. Because you see how stage points are so important. We've already witnessed that with Andrew Farnyards, but it's got to start tonight if you want to make Homestead. I do see some right rear damage on Dylan Jones. I don't know if you're seeing the same thing I am.
You said on the right rear?
Yes, sir. It's a little crinkled up.
Yeah, he's got it indeed.
Would you think that may play a little difference in aerodynamics as far as maybe making a car faster?
You know, I mean, his laps are so close to what Farnyards is doing right now, and I don't know if that's just toe or he's a little bit far back to be in the toe, but boy, it may be the exact thing that's keeping him from getting to Andrew Farnyards right now, to be honest with you. he must have kicked the tail out on it a bit there at one point, and we missed it. But the damage is slight, so I don't know. It could be line too. I think every driver has a bit of a different approach to how they get through these turns here at Indy.
Well, and Alan Elwood just took Mark Clewell for 12th place, so Elwood is moving up towards the front. He's got 2 more positions to try to crack the top 10. Not really seeing any apparent damage on that car. Right now he's pushing the pressure on Luis Salmasso, using a little bit of that draft. That is a fine example right there on using the draft, getting a nice run on corner exit, going side by side with the driver, and going for a pass. Because everybody wants his bottom side groove of the racetrack, and that was a successful textbook pass by Alan Elwood.
Man, Elwood has got that Toyota running, baby. That's 9 spots, and he is knocking on the door of Ethan Moore and the iRacing Toyota. Elwood wants that spot, too, to get himself here into the top 10 early. And Gary Sexton just drops another spot there to Ryan Hill, up for 6th. The Hilco Chevrolet is moving. That's 2 spots for him.
I say if you decide to put restrictor plates on these cars here in Indianapolis there, Sean, then yes, the draft would mean a lot. Oh, no, we got trouble. Oh, Ethan Moore hard into the outside wall.
Uh-oh.
Elwood almost got it tangled up in there.
Oh, man. What a break for Elwood. He's able to get out of the way. The race continues to be green as Ethan Moore was able to keep the car going. Here we go to the replay. Let's take a look at it. Tanner, you saw it.
Yes, sir. He's in the middle of turns 3 and 4 from what I've seen, and it looked like he was kind of going. He actually just got loose. That back end of the car just kicked out. And as soon as he turned the steering wheel to the right, it just darted right into the outside wall really hard. It could be enough to knock the toe out, but man, that was a vicious hit coming off that corner. Everybody gets by unscathed. So Ethan Moore already back down to 17th position with some heavy right front damage. He's going to have to really beg for a caution here at some point from here on or in the next 10 laps.
Yeah, he's going to get it at the stage, I think, right now. Everybody except for Ethan looks comfortable right now. Update real quick. Clewell got the 11th spot back from Luis Salmasso. Poor Ethan Moore. I'm watching my timing and scoring. He just continue to drop there towards the back of the pack. That hurt, man. That was a good knock.
He's got 10 laps, though, until that end of the stage. So with that being said, this is a 2.5-mile speedway here in Indy. So if he can weigh it out until and not go a lap down and get that caution play, he can spend a lot of time in the pits to really get that damage repaired.
See if we can go back to the battle for 7th place right now, because I'm watching Cameron. Cameron just keeps knocking on Gary's back door. A couple of times, been right up on the bumper and going into one, got to back out of it. Cameron's got to get way out of it. And that really hurt his line there. Scrubs off a lot of speed.
Ooh, that was a little bit of a poor decision to try to possibly go for a pass on entrance like that. That looked like almost like a last-minute decision on Cameron's part. And the car really got out of whack on an entrance because he got really hard in there. And he did not want to bump Gary, so he really had to get on the binders. And the car got a little out of place a little bit, but he just seems like he's okay right now.
Yeah, well, he's still pounding on the door of Gary Sexton here. I want in. I want that spot. Oh, in trouble for Salmasso. All of a sudden, I see him drop off my timing and scoring. Well, okay, I didn't catch it. I don't know what happened, but he's out. He's taking the car behind the wall. Sorry we missed that. I didn't catch it, Tanner.
Yeah, I think he did not slap the wall off of turn number 1. He just pulled off and just kind of took it to the garage. He did get it. He does have some damage, however, but that could have been from the very first lap of the race.
Yeah, I saw that. He had that rear end damage, right, on the rear bumper there?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Well, man, Jones almost hit the entrance of pit road.
Oh, I saw that. I caught the end of it there. We caught the end of it on screen. Yeah, we should take a look at that on the replay. That's pretty important right there. A crack in the armor from Dylan Jones almost cost him the entire race. Coming off of turn 4. we are through the short chute and down out of 4. This car's just going to whip around on him, isn't it, Tanner?
Man, oh man, you know, on joking manner, sometimes I would just, whatever car I'm in, I'll come off turn 4 and I'll hit that pit wall entrance and I'll just go flying. But I'm glad that did not happen to Dylan Jones, because that would have been chaotic for him. I mean, whew, that probably saved his race right there just by driving that car. But although he remains on the racetrack and regains composure and try to hunt down Andrew Farnyards or try to wait till the end of the stage.
All right, well, the battle for 5th right now is really, really getting hot. Here with 5 laps left in the stage, Ryan Hill is trying to hold off this angry pack of Cup cars behind him, and Andrew Payne, Gary Sexton, and Kyle Kammer, even with an outside chance to kind of get up into that pack.
Remember, Payne and Kammer actually started in the top 5, and they're outside the top 5 right now, with Andrew Payne being in 6th and Kammer being in 8th. And those guys lost a lot of momentum on lap 1, but they're starting to come back slowly, with Gary Sexton right in the middle of that. And Sexton's trying to push a little pressure on Andrew Payne for position. Cannot do anything with him just yet. He's got 5 laps, though, so he's got a little time to try to get around Andrew Payne for a top 5 spot. Each position in the top 10 counts for a point at the end of the stage, so it's going to be very critical for championship standards right here.
And you've still got Elwood back there picking up ground on these guys. A little bit at a time. I mean, yeah, there's only 4 laps left in the stage, but he's pulling in on camera now. He's got a legitimate shot to maybe get up into that battle for the top 5.
He most likely does. I mean, what could I say about Alan Elwood that has not been already said here tonight? This guy's just been on fire since the drop of the green flag. Doesn't really have a scratch on that number 42, and he's been marching through the field after starting 20th without a qualification time. So what a run, Alan Elwood.
Mistake there. Mistake there out of 4. He also picked up some right side damage coming out of 4. He picked up a little bit of the concrete.
A little bit, but and that's unfortunate, because you don't want any mistakes, because right now Andrew Farnyards, he doesn't have any mistakes. So how are you going to beat Farnyards? A mistake-free race. In fact, I think Elwood would probably be the closest competition, other than probably Dylan Jones. Jones is actually sticking, but we do got a heavy battle right here, right in front of Elwood. That's Payne, Sexton, and Kammer. Single file here. That is actually for 6th, 7th, and 8th.
Yeah, they're setting up here for maybe a little last lap action. Sexton gets a little loose coming off the turn there. Turn 4 seems to be the hot spot, the hot corner right now there, Tanner. Sexton right up alongside.
Oh, got a little loose, trying to get around him. Cannot complete the pass. But look who's going to open the door for this guy right here, Alan Elwood. Elwood's going to try to take advantage of this. Got the nice run after the miscue on Kammer's part. Yeah, trying to get the run. It looks like Kammer's going to have the run off of turn number 1. Maybe not. Elwood actually had a nice run on the exit of turn 1. Now through turn 2. Now this is the tricky part right here. Is coming off of turn number 2. Do not slap the wall. Ooh, got a little loose. Kammer did. Slow down a little momentum down the back straightaway for Kammer. Here comes Elwood on his inside as they head down into turn number 3. Man, I tell you what, that number 42 is carrying legs down the back straightaway when it comes to speed, that's for sure. But he's having a hard time trying to get past number 8 in the corners of the racetrack. Kammer secures his spot for the moment, and here comes the nail biter of turn number 4. Looks like everybody's going to get through that corner pretty good.
Well, I'll tell you what, lap to go here at this point. They come around. Well, actually, I'm sorry, about a lap and a half, let's call it. But Farnyards and Jones have really checked out on the rest of the field here. They've made it a bit of a 2-car battle again. Jones has done a good job of hanging in, even despite the trouble he had coming out of 4 earlier. Car still running well. It didn't upset anything. He was so lucky to get away without an incident there. Really, that could have been his race, because as we talked about earlier, hitting the end of that pit lane, it's just not not something we can do. It will destroy the car every time. But the real race is happening back here for 6th, and right now it does look like I'm sorry, for 7th. It looks like Sexton is pretty good at hanging on to it now, unless Cameron can get some kind of a run at him, and it starts right here going into 1. Cameron actually does pick up a little bit of time, gets a better entry and a decent exit. Sexton, though, able to hold station, and here comes Alan Elwood. Tanner, do you think he can get that spot here from Cameron?
Well, as fast as Elwood is, I think he may have burnt off the tires just a little bit. Otherwise, he probably would have gotten Cameron just like that, as fast as he was at the start of the race. Right now, he's just not in the position to try to get by Kyle Cameron, as Farnyards is going to win the first stage of this evening's festivities. Every position matters within the top 10 as far as points is concerned.
Elwood peeking. He's right there off the track. I mean, right, splitting that bumper and the yellow's out. It wasn't enough. End of the stage, Andrew Farnyards, Dylan Jones, Richard Regan, your top 3. David Washington and Ryan Hill going to round out the top 5, Tanner.
Yeah, I got to tip my hat to Alan Elwood for making up all them starts, and there's a reason why. It's because, yeah, he's a playoff driver, but he's only 3 points ahead of that cutoff line. So that actually kind of helped him. It would have helped him more if he would have been able to get by Kyle Cameron and Sexton, but unfortunately he's going to have to settle for 9th, and that's worth 2 points, bonus points.
And what Elwood's got to do right now is he's going to have a clean pit stop.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay? Clean and fast. So, do you take 2? You go right sides only?
I don't know.
You try that? Is it worth it?
I'd say if we would have had a caution somewhere in the first stage, yes, but no, I'm sorry. I mean, if I was in the situation of Alan Elwood, I have to go with 4. As fast as I am, I have to go with 4.
But it seems like he's got a fast enough car to run out front. He might be able to jump into the pits with only a couple tires, but boy, I don't know how that'll work out when they get the restart going, though. I don't want to be the guy that made the wrong decision on tires. Not here at Indy, because he could wind up at the very back of the pack, like we saw poor, who was that dropped? Ethan Moore drop all the way, after having that trouble.
I think you just said it for me, Sean. You and I both would hate it if we were crew chiefs.
It makes for an interesting decision, man. Hey, listen, you don't want to be that guy, right? That guy that makes the wrong call, and then everybody looks at after the race and goes, "Oh, what was he thinking?"
Yeah, I don't want to be the guy in the race. Okay, all right, driver, we're gonna go with 2 tires. Okay, and then you slip back, and then you got the driver on the radio yelling at you. It's like, well.
All right, here they come. Everybody, no big secret here. Everybody comes down, and got to get to speed. Don't want to screw that up. Don't speed into pit road. Andrew Farnyards leads them all down, just like he's done this evening. He has been a strong car. The Ford, the Exalta Ford, which it still looks strange to me. An Exalta Ford with an 88 on the door is just, it's like, no, I don't know. It's like wearing really, really bad matching clothes. You know what I mean, Tanner? I don't know.
The already miscue is on for Alan Elwood. He overshot the pit stall. So I would say right now, with that being said, put 4 on it. And looks like he will. Andrew Farnyards led the field down. Number 46, Richard Regan. Did he take 2? I got to look here. No, he took 4. If that was a 4-tire pit stop, according to his pit stop, I'm showing a 14.5 on my live timing and scoring. And I tell you what, if that's the case, that was a fast pit stop because he came out first.
Yeah, that was a very fast pit stop. Hey, but what we're going to do is we're going to take a quick break here. We're at the end of the first stage. Andrew Farnyards, your winner. Richard Regan with a great pit stop. We're going to take a quick break from the Impact 200 here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. GSRC will be back in a moment. And they're in the middle of turn 3 and 4 here in the Impact 200. Coming out of the end of the first stage, the Ford Mustang pace car leads them down. Andrew Farnyar's at the point. Here we go again. Richard Regan going to start on the inside. So Regan electing to take that bottom line. Or Farnyar is electing to start on the top. And, well, there we go. Regan's away. The green flag is out. Car got started, I don't want to say too early, but, boy, he jumped it pretty good. Regan gets out to the front. Farnyar's in second, chasing him already. Cars already getting in the line throughout the field, Tanner, as they head through 2.
What an opportunity for Richard Regan Jr. to be out front and try to stay out front because he is a playoff driver and he's trying to hold off Andrew Farnyar's. Farnyar's looks like he's going to look towards the inside on the 46 of Regan Jr. as they head down into turn 3 of 9 degrees of banking. Farnyar's challenging for the top spot. And you got Richard Regan who's trying to defend it. I don't know. The tires are really fresh and they're going to stick really well on that bottom side of the racetrack. I think Farnyar's is going to get them.
Think you're right, and sneaking in there, it might be Dylan Jones looking for a little bit of real estate himself. He's going to drop to the inside, right in behind Farnyar's. They're going to try and both drop Regan here. Here comes David Washington, the number 98, sitting back there in 4th, watching very closely here what's going on in front of him.
It's so hard for a driver to be on that outside line, especially when you don't have the banking to support for that run off. Because right now, it looks like he's being under attack. He was under attack from Farnyards, now under attack from Jones, soon to be under attack from Washington. I mean, he is just stuck on that high line. It is not what Richard Regan wants.
I'll tell you what, Jones had it pinned down there on the white line. You really don't want to get too much of that curve. And, ooh, I'll tell you what, Regan had a little bit of a scary trip there off of 4. David Washington still sitting pretty right back there, and in a good vantage point here. Not letting Farnyards get away. It's only about 3/10.
Kyle Kammer, these cats are just run single file. Sexton's going to look to the inside on Kammer for the 6th spot.
Here we go. Let's see who can hold it the best into 3. Sexton's going to try and get down there on the bottom. Kammer's going to relent. Let him go. Here comes Hill. Ryan Hill up on the inside. They almost made contact. That got scary for a moment. They're going to get off of 4 side by side. Hill, Kammer. Who's going to get it? Hill is going to scream down the front stretch. It's going to be a drag race to the line. It looks like Ryan Hill's going to win it. Move Ryan Hill up to 7th place down into turn 1. Oh, and there's a guy named Alan Elwood back there. I just saw screeching through the field. Elwood just got past Jay Queen. Oh, yeah, watch out. The 62J right up into the door there.
Trading a little
Elwood, and that was close, Tanner.
Yeah, trading a little paint. Something happened to Kyle Kammer during that process as well because he must have got really loose off turn number 2. That cost him a couple of positions from Chris Scala and Eric Stanford. And right now, Kammer's falling into the clutches of one of the fastest guy, and P2's up for grabs.
Yes,
Dylan Jones is pushing the pressure and going for a spot on Richard Regan Jr.
Oh, and Regan almost got some of that wall coming out of 4 like a few have already this evening. Jones fighting hard down there on the bottom, side by side into 1. David Washington coming through with him.
Oh, man, this battle for second, this ain't good. And this is the reason why is because that 88's just going to see ya.
Yeah, he is. Starting to check out again. Good move by Jones. He's going to get up into that 2nd spot. Drop Regan down to 3rd. And now into this battle, Andrew Payne trying to get back up in the front of this field where he started this evening. Washington getting this run, though, into the turn. We're on board with him here, down on the inside. Regan making it very, very tight quarters down there.
Did you see what Richard Regan did right there?
I did.
Just got to try to pinch down your opponent. I know it's early, and it looked like Washington just got a shot from Andrew Payne. At least it looked like, because he had a full head of steam entering the corner of turn 1.
Man, listen, this is not the only battle. We've got Cameron and Stanford back here. This is a battle for 9th. And Stanford's trying to make it work on the outside, and that's Chef Andy's Ford. Cameron going to keep it down there, glued to the bottom. Alan Elwood back behind them, trying to come through. Elwood's going to get by Stanford. Elwood just keeps getting that car in a great spot, able to get it to turn at speed.
Oh, almost contact.
Oh,
there was. Yep.
Oh,
this is going to be yellow.
Jay Queen with a hard hit out of turn 4, and that brings out our first damage caution, accident-related caution of the night. Look at this from on board Abraham here, Tanner. He's going to see this all unfold right in front of him. This is going to hurt.
Oh, which way do you go?
Yeah, he guessed left, and that was the right thing to do.
Boy, that was a last second guess. Right there, slight contact, the slightest of contact, and it just sent Jay Queen in the 62 right around. Vicious hit to the inside wall, up onto the racetrack, brings out the first damage caution of the race.
Yeah, and that's unfortunately that's probably gonna retire the car. I can't imagine he's gonna be able to recover from that damage. That again was an awful hard hit.
I'm sorry, but I agree with you there, Sean. I just don't foresee an SK modified thing running around Indianapolis. You'll be kind of slow on the straightaways.
So I'm wondering. So Jay Queen and Ellery Queen are the same people, right? Not imagining things. Was there a name change on us that I wasn't made aware of, Tanner?
I cannot confirm anything.
He's driving Ellery Queen's car.
Either way, I cannot confirm anything along those lines, but nonetheless,
Okay. Well,
the 62 may have to bring it to the garage.
You know, the peanut gallery has been amazingly quiet this evening. There are AdPro 360 fans missing, noticeably missing from the chat. I don't know where they're at tonight. I don't know why they're not here. But we are being told that they are the same person and that Ellery actually goes by Jay. So we didn't know that. We know it now. We've got several cars dropping down onto the pit lane here. Going to take another stab at it. A lot of these cars don't have any damage. Maybe go for the right sides. I think we should pay attention here.
Yeah, this is a very important pit stop, believe it or not, under this caution flag. This is a mixed bag right now. About half the field is coming down pit road. Half of it's going to stay out. So far, I'm showing 11 drivers that are going to stay out under this caution flag. So let's see what the drivers do on pit road. If they're going to go for 2 tires or 4 tires, because you are limited on set of tires. All right, as of right now, I'm showing Kyle Kammer. He's going for a set of 4 tires. And there goes. He just getting passed by. Who did he just get passed by? Abraham?
You know what? Yeah, and you know who didn't take 4? Abraham is the guy who just went by. Abraham takes 2 on that stop. Well, that's a good strategy. I'll roll with that.
Actually, believe it or not, I think he just took fuel only. He did He did overshoot his pit box, but I did not see any sides of the car that go up. So that kind of indicates to tell me with a 6.5 second pit stop, that's actually fuel only.
I'm going to run with that. I'm going to take the ball. I'm going to run with it, man.
Save those extra sets for that 40-lap run, huh? Might not be a bad choice because Indianapolis relatively isn't really a wreck fest of a race. It takes a lot of patience getting around this joint.
Well, we've seen one, right? So, right. I mean, it's... but we've seen trouble, though. I mean, a lot of guys have had... It's become a cliche. A lot of guys have had trouble getting off of turn 4. 4 has been trouble. And, it could have a lot to do with that gusting wind blowing from the north right now. That could be exactly the spot on the track where vortex of wind is happening, and that's helping get these cars around.
It most certainly would. I would have to see a map to see, how the track is all laid out to where north is and see where it's come down. But the wind is just absolutely gusting, man. I don't know if there's no hurricanes here, folks, because we're far from the ocean.
Okay.
Holy moly.
All right. Well, I will tell you, okay, that turn 4 is at the north end of the track.
So it's blowing down the straightaway.
Right. Exactly. So... listen, if you ever question what iRacing was doing with his physics, there's no reason to question it because, a 23-mile-an-hour wind from the north is definitely going to upset the car if you're not really on your game, man, and making adjustments there with the wheel. So the car dancing a little bit tonight here at Indy.
Oh, yeah, I did mention at the top of the show the car is going to dance a lot. And you know something? It's really going to dance down that straightaway because it's going to throw you in turn 1 where you're already creating speed and the draft. I bet you these guys are hitting about 212 in turn 1.
Yeah, that's what they were talking about in practice. Several looking forward to the challenge of going to 212. So the challenge right now, though, it belongs to Andrew Farnyards and Dylan Jones as they sneak up behind the iRacing pace car and now make their way around in between turns 3 and 4. Get ready to crank it up here again at Indy. The Impact 200 just picked up our first damage caution of the night. Ellery Queen. Sorry, Jay. I slipped. Jay finds himself in the pits right now. That car badly damaged. No front end left on it. Here we go. Base car is off. It's up to Dylan Jones, or is it up to Andrew Farnyards? Farnyards is going to take it. He jumps on the hammer quick. Jones stuck in this battle back here. Washington, Richard Regan. Regan with a little bit of a push going into 1. A little momentum, a little help. And Regan's got to be careful because David Washington almost makes contact just behind them. Andrew Payne got really wild. And that happened right in front of Gary Sexton. But once again, they all start to drop in the line except down the back stretch. Here comes Alan Elwood on the inside. Right there with William Locklear. Locklear, the meat in that sandwich now.
Oh, man, that's probably an uncomfortable feeling.
That dropped Ken Richardson. He just fell quickly. Scala gets stuck up on the high side. He's going to get past. Oh, no! Trouble. And that does bring out the caution.
Oh, more of a bigger accident even behind these cats.
That was Locklear. I saw the 4, and then several cars got into him. Oh, no. Scala was there. Scala gets part of that damage. Man, a bunch of bent-up race cars just behind him. Judd Danielson was involved in that.
Oh, yeah. There was actually 2 separate incidents. The second incident, Danielson got on the wall and was really slow.
There's the replay. There's the shot.
Looked like there was 2 separate incidents going on coming off turn 4. There's the first one right here.
This is the second one right here that involved Locklear. And then everybody behind plows into him. Jesse Abraham, Judd Danielson, all stack up right there. Danielson's car with heavy damage on it. He's in the pit. Obviously, William Locklear's car is just all bent up.
Yeah, there was actually
I'm sorry, go ahead, Tanner.
Yeah, Stanford and Jesse Abraham got together way behind this and actually spun into this accident with William Locklear. So they were already wrecking.
It was we just had the chat just suggested that maybe there might have been some texting and driving going on there. that was a tough restart. Only the second restart we've got to see tonight, but man, a lot of cars got bent up there. Chris Scala his Chevrolet is really, really hurt. A lot of guys into the pits here. You know, fortunately, we're here at Indy. They've got time to. They've got some time here to get a little bit of that damage repaired, Tanner.
Yeah, they got a lot of time to get that damage repaired, so it's a little bit of a leeway. It's just a matter of paying attention where the pace car is currently at, so you can focus on that time getting it repaired. Mark Lewell's on pit road. I see Sexton. He's trying to get off pit road right now. Ryan Hill's getting a bunch of damage repaired and puts 4 tires on the car. Chris Scala, his night might be done. He's still on pit road getting that as much damage repaired as he can. Locklear as well in the Bass Pro Shops. Jesse Abraham took a good hit. He's all damaged up, and remember, he only took fuel only under the last caution. So a lot of drivers, a lot of good drivers that were outside looking in the top 10 here tonight with some damage.
Yeah, and you know what? Judd Danielson just checks in, and he's in the chat now. He said the car's blown up. So, yeah, that's a tough break for Judd. A lot of these drivers are still in the middle of really having a solid run, and boy, we go back to the beginning of the race, and we talked about, how important aero was here. Well, a lot of cars are going to be behind the 8 ball now with the aero, and I don't know that you need a straight car to win this race, but you definitely need one that's handling well. And with the type of wind we've been looking at this evening, you better really be handling well, and that car better not be free, because if she's too free, you're going around, and we're probably going to have another caution flag.
Yeah, absolutely. To add to the point of the incident we just had, William Locklear, this put him in a big hole because he was the 12th and final driver entering the playoffs, and this is going to put him into a big hole now as far as trying to getting into that next round. Gary Sexton, I did see, was kind of involved in an accident. He took the opportunity to try to get tires under this caution flag, so hopefully Sexton doesn't see anything more in this race as far as damage is concerned. So a lot of drivers behind the 8 ball tonight.
Hey, and you know who's back? You know who's back in the field? Jay Queen has got that Chevrolet back on track. Sorry, folks, the rumors of his demise were highly over-exaggerated, because Jay is going to get out there. I guess they bondoed some Barabon there on the front end and got the front clip back on it here enough to at least stay out here and try and salvage something from this race. But that was a hard hit he took earlier, so we'll see how that car performs here when the green flag gets going. But still, several in the pits. Clewell, Locklear, Abraham, Judd Danielson, we mentioned, has that car has expired. And right now the lights still on the pace car. Coming around, I expect they will go out this time around, and it'll be time to get back to racing. And it'll be Andrew Farnyards get to start from the front. Well, that's where he's done it all night so far. Dylan Jones, again, having a spectacular run. At times, looks like he's been able to hang with Farnyards. Richard Regan, I don't think that his qualifying effort was indicative of where he's run for most of this race. He's been battling up here with Jones for most of this. And David Washington, I think Washington's the one we're going to need to keep an eye on, Tanner, because that car has looked hooked up all night, and he's just kind of playing the waiting game, I think.
He could possibly be, but I think the last couple of restarts, been kind of keeping an eye on Washington. The last couple of restarts, he's been on the outside row, which is really not the lane you want to be in the corners of the racetrack here. Right now, he has the opportunity. Actually, he does not have the opportunity. He's going to start on the outside row again. So we'll see what David Washington can produce here to see if he can get clear, take the inside, and remain in his top 5 position. Another driver that's just been moving up through the field. He's crawling inches towards the front. Alan Elwood, number 42. He'll be lined up on the inside row.
Yeah, and I talked about Washington being the driver to watch. I think we should probably watch Elwood too, because that car has had amazing speed all night, and he has escaped a little danger. And you know what? I like where he's starting. He's up 13 spots, obviously, from where he started back there in 20th. He does have that nick of right front damage to be concerned with, and we wonder if that's going to affect the downforce on the car when he tries to go and make a move on somebody. So far, it hasn't looked to be too much of a problem, Tanner, as they head down the back straight and get ready to restart this race.
Yeah, absolutely. Right now we're on lap 39. We're actually, the way it's looking, the pace car lights are still remain turned off, so we should get the green and the white flag for stage 2, because this is the 20 lapper right here. coming up on the white flag lap of stage 2. I don't know if they're going to throw the caution flag. I assume they will under NASCAR standards.
Well, we are certainly going to restart it. We are halfway through turns 3 and 4, and I think they're going to get one run here to the caution. So here we go. They race control decided that they would restart here. So here we go. The iRacing.com pace car leads him down. He makes the left turn. Andrew Farnyars waits, he waits, and then he gets on the hammer, and here we go. Down across the start-finish line, it's going to be Farnyars, and there you go. David Washington stuck up on the outside. That car is not moving. Dylan Jones is. Here comes Richard Regan Jr. right behind him. Oh. Washington's going to keep putting it in there, and they are ever so close.
Man, look at Kyle Kammer.
Yeah, Kammer with a good start. He's sticking it in there, but here comes Elwood. Elwood already getting a run out of the second turn. Down the backstretch. Yes, sir. Here we go.
Points mean a lot right here. This is the white flag lap of stage 2. Top 10 points. Elwood throws it in there.
Washington almost gets into the rear of Richard Regan. It's Farnyars holding on to this lead, though.
Oh,
out of 4.
Oh, Washington.
Oh, boy, that's it. Cameras around.
Oh, and Andrew Payne hits the pit road entrance. Caution flag.
All that breaks loose out of turn 4. Farnyars is going to win the stage again. Dylan Jones going to finish second. Richard Regan going to bring it home in third. Wow. That was a mad dash. Trouble at the back, though. Kammer, I can't remember. Did Kammer have any damage prior to that?
No, he did not.
Yeah, that's a tough break for Kammer, man. He didn't need that to happen. Now, they've already caught up to the pace car in the middle of the backstretch. We're watching this on board with Andrew Payne. Take a look at this replay.
He knows they're going to wreck. They're wrecking right here. He just
oh, man. Payne had his own trouble coming off of 4 there, and he clips Kammer, and then he ricochets into the end of that pit wall.
Oh, man, I tell you what, that was a real-life accident right there. I would have been a little worried on Kyle Kammer because he hit that driver's side door hard.
Yeah. And that's a couple more cars that hadn't had any real significant damage. It picks them up now and are unfortunately going to probably have to struggle with that to the finish of this race. The completion of the second stage is in the books. Andrew Farnyars gets it again, and he's going to get the point into the pit lane. Here we go. Farnyars, Jones, Regan, Elwood, Sexton, Washington. Race control coming on board and saying the caution actually came out for the accident itself, not for the end of the stage, but this is the end of the stage. We've passed lap 40.
Yeah, nonetheless, we were expecting the caution one way or another, but here we go. Drivers headed down pit road. They're going to take 4 tires. I assume they will take 4 tires. There goes Gary Sexton on a 2-tire strategy. Maybe fuel only. I'll have to double check on that. Ryan Hill is out. There goes Elwood. Andrew Farnyars is going to get out because he's going to be the first driver on 4 fresh tires. A mixed bag of strategy just to try to beat Farnyars. And quite frankly, with all the caution laps we had in stage 2, I kind of like it.
Tanner, I'm kind of with you, man. Not a bad idea. Now, Clewell didn't even come in. So he was in 4.5 laps ago.
Yeah.
So not sure exactly what the play is there. Now, Clewell's car, one of those cars that's carrying a little bit of damage. I'm thinking he's probably going to hit the pit road next time, maybe try to get some more of this damage knocked out. He's been in 4 times already, so he's obviously been working on that damage. But behind him, it's Kammer, Sexton, Hill, Elwood, and Farnyars. Tell you what, We're going to step away. The pit stops are out of the way. We'll keep an eye on Clewell. But for now, the Global Sim Racing channel is going to take a quick break. We'll be right back. And the lights are out on the pace car, and that means it's time to go back racing here for the Impact 200 from Indianapolis Motor Speedway tonight on the Global Sim Racing channel. Mark Clewell, he keeps the car on track, and that damage I talked about, we looked at the car a little bit more. It's not that bad. I think he'll be okay. But the fact is, he is at the point. Gary Sexton with a great pit stop is right there at his side. And for the first time tonight, Andrew Farnyars finds himself back in the third row to restart this race, Tanner.
Yeah, he's going to be the first driver on 4 fresh tires. Everybody else ahead of him is either on 2 tires or no tires at all. Because there was a couple drivers such as Sexton and Hill that came down for fuel only to try to gain some track position on track right now. So probably saving the those extra sets of tires for this final round right here because we got about less than 40 laps. So this is going to be an interesting stretch of strategy. Mark Clewell is going to be the race leader. His last pit stop was about 6 laps ago, and that was actually for a lot of damage repairs. And now he's out there, and he's going to take the lead, see how well he holds up.
Well, I think this is about as close to the front as Elwood has started this race, or restart anyway. Here we go. It's up to Clewell. Pace car is off, and he is on it. Clewell didn't really waste any time. Now the green flag is out.
Boy, that outside row had a better start than that inside row, because look at Sexton, Elwood, and Richard Regan Jr. Regan's going to hop towards the inside in front of Farnyars, leaving Elwood out on the outside trying to find the inside. Battle for the top spot, possibly, because here comes Sexton pushing a little pressure on Mark Clewell. Alan Elwood's losing a little bit of ground here to Ryan Hill. Sexton's looking towards the inside for the top spot. Let's see what Sexton can do.
Goes the Dirty Air Studios Toyota. Deep CCR there. He goes to the point up 3 wide in the middle of the turn, and Clewell is all the way up top. Dylan Jones is going to come by, almost gets in contact with him. Cammer And the 23 about Ethan Moore all past Clewell. That was costly.
Oh, that hurt Clewell and Elwood in that corner turn 3. They're going to go 3 wide again, it looks like, with Elwood and Farnyards. Farnyards says forget it. Elwood to the bottom on Richard Regan Jr. for a position, trying to complete the pass, trying to get that left rear quarter pound, cannot get there. Here comes Farnyards to take advantage.
Yeah, Elwood's car doesn't seem to be moving too well like it was a little while ago. Farnyards just about got the pass completed. Dylan Jones going to drop in behind him, give him a little bit of a push down the straightaway. As they head to turn 3, Gary Sexton still has a commanding lead right now. Started this race in 6th place, but the Dirty Air Studios Toyota is running, baby. Ryan Hill under threat from Richard Regan Jr. Jr. going to look to the inside here, coming out of turn 4. Going to try and slingshot him here down the front straight.
Oh, man, Hill's playing a little defense right now.
Sure is. The bumper on that Chevrolet got really, really wide there. And now Regan's found the inside, gets a good run out of the turn. Now into 4. Regan's going to find the space down low to complete the pass. It's going to be Farnyards door to door with Ryan Hill.
That defensive play on Ryan Hill's part kind of cost him a couple, and it's going to cost him a couple positions right now because he had an interesting angle other than other drivers did down turn 1. So Hill's now going to back up the 4th spot. It's going to give Richard Regan and Farnyards 2nd and 3rd. Gary Sexton, the Lone Ranger out front, who took fuel only. He's got 2 guys right behind him with 4 fresh stickers coming after him.
Man, I'll tell you what, Farnyards really drove the car deep into turn 3 to get past Ryan Hill. Now it's Richard Regan trying to break the draft, going down the front stretch. It's not going to help. Probably just scuffed off a little bit of speed because here comes Farnyards. Farnyards still charging. He did not let starting back there in the 3rd row phase him. Some close racing on his march, but right now things looking pretty good. I think he's got it dialed in right where he wants to be. Obviously, everybody's still going to need another pit stop battle for 4th. Dylan Jones is going to take that spot from Ryan Hill. Ryan Hill's car just seems to keep going away a little bit more every lap. Alan Elwood again hasn't come up through the field like we expected he might, Tanner.
No, he has not. That's just because he's on a different tire strategy than other drivers such as Farnyards and Richard Regan. Gary Sexton seems like the only guy that's been able to stay up towards the front, unlike the other drivers like Ryan Hill and Elwood, and as well as Mark Clewell. So the tire play is starting to come into factor because I am seeing Richard Regan Jr. and Farnyards. They have practically caught the number 13 of Gary Sexton. It's just a matter of when they're going to get by them, because here comes Farnyards towards the inside of Richard Regan Jr. for position. This is a battle for 2nd place, and it's going to be soon battle for the race lead. Sexton might defend his position down in the 3rd corner. Let's see. Yes, he will. But, man, it's going to be awfully tough.
Yeah, Farnyard's going to try and get the run on him here out of 4. He's just close enough to make it happen. Already looking to the inside. Sexton. Oh, boy, the rear end got really out of shape there out of 4. We've seen it so many times tonight. They're getting down to 1. Farnyard's not going to run out of track. In fact, he's going to drive it in deep, then get on the binders. Here we go. Sexton, Farnyards side by side as they get out of 1 into the short chute here, heading to 2.
And Jones and Regan Jr. going at it for the 3rd spot.
And give that 1st spot back to Andrew Farnyards. He pulls off the pass. Sexton now down to 2nd. Got to worry about Dylan Jones coming up just on his left side here. Jones getting a really, really good run down the back stretch, side by side with Regan. Regan did not want to leave his right side at all.
Regan looked like he got a little sideways on entrance to the corner there. Lost a lot of momentum. Just fell into the clutches of Ryan Hill. That could have been big.
I think I saw Farnyards with a little bit of a wall knock there coming out of 4. But here we go. The battle for 2nd is on. Dylan Jones down the front straight. Going to drive it into 1. Down on the inside. Sexton keeps the momentum going up top. Good run into turn 1 for Sexton on that middle groove. He's trying to hang on and still holding a good line up there. Jones a little bit better maybe. Sexton comes up along the outside here on the back stretch. They head down to turn 3. Ryan Hill back there riding in their wake, Tanner.
Yeah, most definitely. I'm surprised Ryan Hill's actually able to catch these guys. But with all this battling going on, it's allowing Ryan Hill to catch Sexton and Jones. Jones looks like he's going to get the position on Sexton, and most definitely will. Sexton's going to follow in line in the third spot right now, and hopefully he can actually just stay there. So far, this strategy on staying out is actually playing in their favor. It's just they just need a caution and try to get them tires so they can compete up towards the front.
Boy, and I'll tell you what, it's lazy, hazy days for Andrew Farnyards. He's already opened up well over a second lead, and that car just seems to keep running away. Sexton seems to be the one struggling just a little bit right now. Jones keeps running and in pursuit of Farnyards, but here comes Ryan Hill dancing. Got that car, that Chevrolet, moving around a little bit here, looking maybe for an opportunity on Sexton. Richard Regan holding on back there in fifth.
Oh, yeah, you talk about dancing around, man. There's a lot of cars dancing down that back straight because they got a big old headwind down that back straightaway. Oh, Elwood. Elwood's coming.
Finally. Okay,
yeah,
now.
Finally.
Yeah, okay, now he's starting to get things back together. This is the Alan Elwood we all know and love here.
Oh, he dove in there.
Oh, no, I spoke too soon.
Oh, that could have been. Oh, no, he's going to get sideways. There's Wilson.
Oh, he can't save it. He can't save it. Nosedives right into the top of the wall. Oh, that's a heartbreaker for Alan Elwood. Man, that was a fast race car.
Dead gone.
I'm not taking the blame for that.
Oh, boy, I hope you're not.
Maybe the commentator's curse wasn't played. Let's look at this here, Tanner.
I tell you what, this all started with that hard entrance into turn number one. Realistically, it kind of threw Regan Jr. off the game a little bit, and Regan hit the outside wall hard enough to where it's going to ricochet, bounce right into Alan Elwood. Elwood does not save it. And again, Regan...
Yeah. And Regan actually, they wind up getting together twice. You're going to see Regan hit the wall here. We're on board with him now. He comes across, he makes the contact with Elwood, and Elwood's car up ahead right there hits, and he ricochets off and gets back into Regan. And Regan has got a long trail of smoke coming out of that car. He's down into the pit lane.
Say this for both drivers. I don't want to continue to curse them or anything like that, but both drivers are playoff contending drivers. This is going to put them into a little bit of a hole right now, and that's very unfortunate because both drivers were in the top five running very well today.
We could just not say anything for the rest of the race, and then we wouldn't be guilty of maybe cursing any of these great drivers this evening. Hi. Okay, now our director says then we won't get paid. So, no, that's not an option. All right. Gotta have my money, man. Pay me.
Either do your job or throw the curse.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what. Here comes the field. They're in that window that we talked about early on, and we said about 24 to 28 laps. Well, guess what? We got 26 to go here at the line under caution. I think everybody's going to come down. They're going to top off those tanks, and it's going to be time to make a run, a stretch run to the end, Tanner. Let's watch them closely. Got to have a perfect pit stop here. Don't lose out to your opponent.
26 laps remaining. Keep that in mind under these pit stops. That's very important to know, especially for fuel numbers. And this is a very important pit stop, and I assume every driver is going to come down and at least get 4 fresh tires and be on their way. Barnyards, every time he's visited pit road, he's grabbed 4 tires, and he's grabbing 4 tires again. And it looks like Barnyards is going to lead the field off with Dylan Jones. There's Ryan Hill. Hey, good news on Ryan Hill. He was one of those drivers that stayed out the last caution and took fuel only. So he's in 3rd place now. He's going to grab 4 fresh tires. That's great track position right there.
Yeah, it really was. Hill with a great pit stop, and we talked about all the cars that had been damaged. Hill not showing anything on his car, not to me anyway, and that's a good position for opportunity. He's going to get to start on the inside, which I think we've talked about several times tonight. Is probably where you want to be on the restarts here. It seems to have worked out for just about everybody that's been down there. The top line on these restarts just doesn't seem to really get going as fast as you would like it to.
Yeah, I remember when I talked about David Washington being the victim of that. Last couple restarts, he was on that outside row. He just could not get a going. You said he's got a fast car, but the restarts are kind of plaguing him a little bit. So if he gets a start on the inside row without any kind of damage, which I don't think I've seen damage on Washington's car here this evening, he should be able to get up towards the front again. Otherwise, he's been really quiet in the top 10 majority of the day.
All right. Last caution of the night, Tanner?
Should we curse that? My guess, probably not. But just in case, set yourself up just for fuel conservation mode. Because what did you say fuel numbers were? 25 laps?
24 to 28 was that window.
24 to 28. So
yeah.
You remember what I said when drivers come down pit road? Mark that down. 26 laps to go. Everybody's coming down pit road. So that's right in the ballpark on whether you're going to make it or not.
All right, a couple more drivers have taken their cars behind the wall. Richard Regan, Allen Elwood, both of them are now officially behind the wall with their cars. Jay Queen still in the pit lane here, probably just getting a little more work knocked out on that thing. He is back out, rolling now to the safety lane. William Locklear is still in the race. The 4 still trying to make it happen here. I guess that's going to leave us with 13 cars here to get restarted.
Yeah, to add a little bit to that fuel thing, Indianapolis is a big racetrack. You can actually save a lot of fuel under caution flag, Sean. So these drivers may be able to make it to the end because we have 25 laps to go. We're going to get 24 laps to go when they come to the start-finish line this time by. So this could be a good deal for a lot of these drivers. Come down, get 4 fresh tires, fill that thing up with fuel, kind of clutch it just in case, or heck, even turn the car off for that matter under this caution flag because the caution flags around here are pretty long at times.
Yeah, I think just that they got a caution flag really solidifies their chance to make it to the end, to be honest with you.
See some drivers coming down pit road right now. I see Scala's one of them.
Maybe they don't feel good about their fuel numbers. They think she's one last chance to top it off.
Gary Sexton on pit road.
Yeah, and of course any damage to the car might not help, but may hurt your fuel consumption, Tanner. That's also another option.
It can. It definitely can for sure. I'm seeing Gary Sexton with a lot less damage than Scala, though. He's coming down pit road. I'm not seeing the jack up. It's not going up on either side, so I assume he's taking fuel only. Scala and Sexton almost made contact on pit road, but Scala's going to beat him off. Both drivers remain on the lead lap, so it's an interesting call, but, I mean, it can work.
And you know, if this stays green, those guys that just took that pit stop, they may be able to push the car a little bit harder. And you may need that to win this race. But what you're really going to need is to find a way to get past Andrew Farnyards. Now, he's going to start on the outside here. He's elected to take the top side here on the restart. I was just talking against that a moment ago. But here we go. They're going to head into 3. Everybody getting bunched up here. Dylan Jones, Andrew Farnyards on the front row. It's going to be Kyle Cameron, Ryan Hill. Watch out for that Hillco Chevrolet. It's been good tonight. Cameron, you know what? I'd say Cameron at this point is playing with house money, man. He is lucky to be up here in the second row right now after avoiding early trouble. So here we go. He had Ford Mustang pace car, takes them through turn 4, north end of the track here. All that wind coming from the north. About 20 degrees right now. It's going to head off. There goes the pace car. Dylan Jones on the inside. Andrew Farnyards on the outside. Here we go. Farnyards, no trouble getting away from the pack. Farnyards just unloads into turn 1. Big run for him. Jones stuck back there in second. Ryan Hill with a good run. Cameron A little slow off the turns. Going to let David Washington get to the bottom, get on the inside of Cameron.
Cameron was just caught sleeping big time on that restart because he just went from fourth to all the way to really actually just lost position on the restart, but it's besides the point. That outside the road just did not go.
No, it wasn't moving at all. And boy, what a break for David Washington. Yeah.
Jones slacked the wall off of turn 3 there.
You know, you can only do that to a car so much. We talked about it at Bristol last night in the Challenger Series. You hit that concrete one too many times, and then the car doesn't want to turn. Then you've got something that you really didn't expect, and that's an unruly beast through these turns. We talked about getting up to 212 miles an hour earlier. Listen, that's what you need to compete, and if you're not hitting that anymore, wow.
Man, I tell you what, Jones is driving the
Yeah.
heck out of that car because he went way below that white line in the middle of the corner, and that car just stepped out. That guy is just working it in that car tonight.
Yeah, well, you don't want to overwork it, right? And cost yourself the race here. Jones still in a perfect spot here to pick up great points tonight.
He was just blinking pretty heavy down 3 and 4, but so far it's stabilized.
I've noticed that all of a sudden he seems to have had a little bit of a problem with connection.
I really believe in the commentator's curse now.
Well, let's see. Who can we talk about that we don't have to worry about cursing?
Fargers? Scala?
Okay, yeah, we can talk about Chris Scala. There we go. All right, so good time to talk about Scala. Yeah, unfortunately, Sexton getting by Clewell. Look at that. All right, Gary picking up another spot.
Oh, man, a driver that just dropped out of the top 5. He's blinking bad. He's not anywhere on the track. Is Kyle Kammer. Nowhere to be found.
Oh, no, and the connection bug is seemed to have all of a sudden hit a couple of guys this evening. That is a shame. Yeah, Kammer disappearing off of my timing and scoring as well, Tanner. Oh, he had such a good car there at the end. Does that count as a curse? Question.
I don't know.
Jones,
I don't know.
hang on here. Notice this, Tanner. Tanner, Andrew Farnyar's not really pulling away yet here on Dylan Jones. Jones still driving the wheels off of that Camry.
Jones is just trying to do everything he can to try to catch that Ford up there of Andrew Farnyar's at Exalta 88. And all you Dale Jr. fans that like that paint scheme, well, I bet you're cheering him on tonight.
And my bad, I misidentified a car again. It's Dylan Jones in the Ford. He's got a couple of blue ovals there up at the front battling right now.
You got a Chevrolet in third right there. Ryan Hill, who's actually catching both Jones and Farnyards. So don't count out Ryan Hill just yet. And I tell you what, if Jones and Farnyards, if they start battling for that top spot, Ryan Hill will catch him.
Yes, he will. And when they get back across the line, we're only going to have 18 laps to go in this race. I'll tell you what, it's been a good one tonight here from Indy. I don't think I've ever seen a bad race in Indy, to be honest with you. Indy just makes races fun. As we'll take a look at Gary Sexton and his improved pace all of a sudden. Tanner, what's going on there? It looks like Gary's starting to move.
Yeah, Gary Sexton, you actually topped it off there, Sean, as well as our director. Be careful of those drivers that just pitted for that extra tank of gas under this last caution, because they could be pushing a little harder than others, and Gary Sexton certainly is. He has moved up to 5th place after I think he restarted about 8th or 9th under the restart. He's already shown himself in the top 5. He's a playoff contending driver, and he's just trying to gain on David Washington. Right now, I do believe the interval between those two drivers is about 2 seconds. So Sexton, he's got time to catch him. It's just a matter of when.
Yeah, there's plenty of time left in this race. These laps, we're getting around just over 50 seconds. You've got the time to do it. How long will the car hold out? That's the question. How long can you continue to push as hard as you've pushed before it starts to go away on you? And I'm afraid, we were talking about Ryan Hill back here in third. I think he's starting to maybe catch Dylan Jones just a little bit. I think we're going to have a battle here for second coming up real shortly. Jones now contact with that wall a couple of times.
Yeah, 0.8 of a second separates the top 3 drivers of Farniar's, Jones, and Hill. It's just a matter of what is going to happen in these remaining laps of tonight's event. Jones is still having a blinking problem, but it's not severe, so Jones still remains in the second spot. He is starting to lose just a little tiny bit of ground in turn 3 to Andrew Farniar's. That is allowing Ryan Hill to actually catch Jones a little bit. So Ryan Hill is actually trying to push a little pressure on that number 16 Ford. Jones actually lost a little momentum coming off the corners there to Farniar's.
Riding on board with Ryan Hill here. I'm watching David Washington. I'm a little surprised David has fallen back as far as he has now. 1.5 seconds here behind. Now he is in 4th, but he just doesn't seem to have the speed to match the guys in front of him right now. It was awful close on that last lap, but man, I don't know. He started off well, and cars kind of hit a wall on him here. 11 laps into his run.
Yeah, that's unfortunate, but this race is not over yet. From here on out, we still got coming to about 15 laps to go here, and anything can happen. We could see a caution flag within those 15 laps. And also, I don't want to throw any curses on it, but I have to say it, you have to keep an open mind that there may be a green-white checker.
That's right. We do have the green-white checker here in the AdPro 360 Cup Series. Farniar is starting to check out. I really think it's going to come down to this battle for second right now. Jones' car is just looking too squirrely for me. Every time it gets off of turn 4 and even turn 2 for that matter, the rear end has not looked stable. So I think a combination of a couple of times hitting that wall and not benefited him at all.
You talk about unstable, man. I tell you what, there's been a couple times already, and it just happened this time off of turn 3. Jones has just been loose off that corner of the racetrack. I mean, understand loose is fast, but holy cow, it is just not as smooth as our leader, Andrew Farniar's. If anything, this is happening to Dylan Jones. It's allowing him to fall into the clutches of Ryan Hill, who's currently in 3rd place, who's not as loose as Jones.
Well, it's everything we expected from Indianapolis, and maybe just a little bit more. But right now, Dylan Jones is trying to hang on to his 2nd place run. He started 3rd in this race. Ryan Hill started back in 8th. He is still trying to get this spot away, maybe get a little bit more here before this race is over. They're going to come to the stripe here out of 4 with 13 laps to go.
Oh, Jones.
And Jones with big trouble there out of 4.
Oh, man, and almost got clipped right there, trying to get back into the preferred line up to the outside wall, and here comes Ryan Hill for the battle for second.
Yeah, Jones still struggling.
Jones is really struggling, and it's not going to help with the pressure being placed on by the 55 of Ryan Hill. And I tell you what, another thing that is not helping Jones at all with the handling of this race car has to be that wind. I bet you that, because that wind is coming from the north. That's over by turns 3 and 4. Here we are in turns 3 and 4. This is the section where Jones is getting really loose. Right now, it's a little more stable than usual. Let's see how Jones is going to execute turn 4 right here. Is he going to get loose? Last time by, he almost wrecked it. Much better this time around. But it looks like Ryan Hill has a little bit of a better run down the straightaway. Practically a drag race. Let's see, is Hill going to look towards the inside? He's not going to look towards the inside this time by. He's looking for that big run.
Jones just got a handful of wheel right now. That's never fun. When it's just lap after lap and you are just fighting it.
Yeah, I agree.
Hill's going to look. Hill's going to look to the inside here into 3. He did more than look. He's trying to take it. Jones.
Hill.
Jesus.
Hale got really loose off turn 3.
Jones hangs on to it again. How many more laps are going to be able to do that for? Here comes Hill across the stripe. Doesn't have it yet. He's going to go into one side by side with Dylan Jones. And he's getting the advantage through the middle of the turn. Jones is a fighter.
He certainly is, man. I tell you what, Ryan Hill, he's beating him on entrance, but Jones is actually getting him on exit. They're drag racing down the back straightaway at Indianapolis. With 11 laps remaining, Ryan Hill trying to beat Dylan Jones for second place, and I do believe he's going to get him. Yes, he does.
He's got him for now. I just said Dylan Jones is a fighter. Watch out. He could come right back at you here.
The problem is right here with Dylan Jones is he's behind Ryan Hill. He's working with that dirty air. There's a little bit of a clean air on the nose of the 55 because really nobody is in front of him. So he has that clean air to really work with so he can arc the corner much better than what Dylan Jones can.
Well, Jones still hanging right there with him.
Tell you what, they may not be side by side, but it's still a battle going on right now.
Not missing much throughout the rest of the field. There is a battle between Ethan Moore and Mark Clewell. Those two not quite as close as what we've been watching, though. And that is Dylan Jones trying to get this back now from Ryan Hill. He certainly thought about it. And Jones up near the wall again out of turn 4.
I think Ryan Hill, too, because he's towards the inside now, maybe trying to break the draft just a little bit.
Yeah, he's trying to get the advantage here in a 1. Jones's car still seems to be turning well down low. He picks up a little ground there on Hill through the turn. He's doing it again.
Jones is actually struggling here. He's gonna need something to try to catch Ryan Hill. I don't think either driver here has something from Farnyards. Farnyards has checked out about 3.5 seconds. He's saying goodbye.
Well, he had a big cushion coming in, and that's why? Well, because he had a great season, and he racked up lots of bonus points. It was definitely the odds-on favorite, and Dylan Jones with trouble
Jones
again. He hit it hard that time, almost collects the pit road barrier there in the middle of the track. Jones able to keep it going, but boy, he is really as sketchy as he's ever been. Here's the replay. Looking out over the Windex hood. And he hits it hard, and you see just gets the car back to the right in time to avoid clipping the end of the pit lane there.
How many times is that for Dylan Jones tonight?
It's a few. It's a few. I believe we've lost track.
Pretty interesting battle back here. It's been kind of going on for a little while. Clewell almost got hard into the corner of the racetrack of turn 3. Had to back up just a little bit. This will be a battle between Ethan Moore and Mark Clewell. Clewell in the 65. Battle for 6th. Looks like there's a battle no more.
Yeah, no, I don't think it is. Ethan Moore able to get by, and boy, how about Ethan Moore fighting back from trouble early in this race. Moore still in it, and right now working with a top 6 run here. Kyle Kammer reporting that he had some sort of a power surge on his end. And that's what happened. I don't think it was a connection issue. He had something going on with his hardware. That's a shame, because that was a good race car there for a while. Yeah, it looks like Clewell taking a shot here at it, Tanner.
Yeah, Clewell's trying to get Ethan Moore for 6th, and what a whale of a race for Clewell too. Not just Ethan Moore, but Clewell. Realistically, you got to remember he dropped back at one point after starting first, and he got freight trained.
More trouble for Jones. Sorry about that. More trouble for Jones. I think it was back in turn 4. But that car right now is dead weight on the track. David Washington just screamed past him. Jones just hanging on for dear life right now. That car is really, really off.
Oh, man.
Oh, I think we do have a replay of it. Here it is. Our director doing a great job of catching that. I didn't see it, but boy, he gets into it hard right there. How does he hang on to that? Wow, that... Okay, so the point can be made he didn't really, but he avoids the end of the pit wall again. What's that? Within 3 laps, 4 laps of each other.
Is he like one of them Daredevils or Travis Pastrana like guys? I mean, good. I mean, like I said, how many times has he came close to entering the pit wall to where he could be flying around the racetrack? Oh my Lord! So that's a very upsetting news for Dylan Jones. He's going to fall back into the 4th position right now, just trying to hang on. A driver right behind Dylan Jones, however, is Gary Sexton. We noted that Gary Sexton was a driver that was on the move on the restart, but he's been very quiet ever since. He was never able to catch David Washington, still hasn't, but he might have a shot on catching Dylan Jones here, since Jones is having a terrible end to this race with a loose race car and everything.
Yeah, the car is just giving up on him. I mean, that's just a fact. Again, I know I said it earlier. I'm going to say it again. You just can't collect that wall too many times without suffering a consequence. And poor Washington just limping to the end. I'm sorry, Dylan Jones limping to the end right now. Sexton continues to reel him in here, Tanner. I don't think it's a matter of if. I think it's a matter of when. Sexton continuing to make this run here, and the gap continues to close. Here comes Gary Sexton.
Sexton, he is going to catch Dylan Jones. I mean, I have no doubt in that. Looks like that car is just totally limping. It's not as loose anymore, but that's not really a good sign because he's slow getting off corners to where Sexton's catching him because he sustained so much damage in this race for Dylan Jones. So that's very unfortunate. He's just hoping to come out of here at least with a top 5 finish. He's only got 4 laps to get it done, coming 3 laps to go. So, I mean, it's not very long anymore. It's just trying to bring it home, solid top 5. Let's move on to the next race and try to get there.
A little more contact for Dylan Jones there. But Sexton better get pedaling. 3 laps to go. If he's going to do this, he needs to get it done quickly. Jones is doing enough right now through the turns to survive here. The Ethan Moore, Mark Clewell battle continues to rage on. Those two actually very, very close on the racetrack to each other right now. I don't know if this position is settled. I got to be honest with you. This may come down to a photo finish between these two.
Believe it or not, it's actually one of the closest battles on the speedway, even though Jones and Sexton are brewing up. But hey, here we go. Clewell, he might look towards the inside here. Dove pretty good down turns 3. Getting up to that bumper of Ethan Moore. Cannot try to go for a pass at the moment. Ethan Moore playing a little defense here on the inside row. Clewell, his goal is just trying to get a better run than Ethan Moore. Looks like both drivers are pretty even coming off turn number 4 here as they drag race down the straightaway.
Well, they started on track right next to each other when this race went green at the beginning. They find themselves hooked up here at the end for a finish. It's 6th place at stake. Ethan Moore's got it. Mark Clewell would like to get it.
A little bit of a miscue on Clewell's part as he entered turn 1 earlier last time by. You know, he dove it in there a little too hard and lost a little momentum coming off turn 1. But right now he still has Ethan Moore in his sights. It's just a matter of not overdriving the corner and getting a better run off than Ethan Moore.
And our leader, Andrew Farnyars, has taken the white flag down into turn 1. Farnyars started this race on the pole. Our Sim Speed Shop Pole Award winner looks to take home the checkered flag and go wire to wire in what has been a pretty exciting race here this evening in the AdPro 360 Cup Series. Race 1 of round 1 of the playoffs. Playoffs? Here we go. Dylan Jones watching Gary Sexton. Sexton's going to get one last chance at it. He's getting a run at him going into 3. We go back up to the leader. Here comes Andrew Farnyars out of 4. Going to slot in behind Ellery Queen. down the front stretch to the stripe. Andrew Farnyars is going to take the win at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Ryan Hill with a big second place finish in the Hill Coast Chevrolet. David Washington brings her home in third. Dylan Jones fourth, and Gary Sexton going to round out the top 5. What a race here at Indy.
And Ethan Moore did beat Mark Clewell to the line. Clewell just could not get there. So that Ethan Moore will finish in 6th and Clewell in 7th.
Well, Tanner, that was an exciting one. 80 laps here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. The Impact 200 come to a close. And that means we're going to take a quick break here on the Global Sim Racing channel. We will be back with everyone in just a moment. We'll go over the results and we'll talk to some of these drivers about the race they had tonight. See you in a moment. Tanner Sharp, Sean Ambrose, back with you here on the Global Sim Racing channel. The Impact 200 here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway just finished, and now we've got the results for you. Here we go. Andrew Farnyar started on the pole, and guess what? That's right, where he finished. First place run for Andrew tonight in race 1 of round 1. Ryan Hill, the Hill Coast Chevrolet, comes home with a top 5 run in second place. He's on the podium with Farnyar's. David Washington has a great run there at the end, takes advantage of a little misfortune there, and gets himself up into third. Dylan Jones is going to save that car to finish in fourth. Gary Sexton with an impressive top 5 run for himself. It was actually in the lead of this race at one point with a little alternating strategy there. 6th going to go to Ethan Moore. Good recovery drive for him. Comes up a lot of spots to finish 6th. Mark Clewell, he's there at the end and had a good fight with Ethan Moore over those last 5-6 laps of the race. Chris Scala hangs on to an 8th place finish in that Dave Marcus tribute car. 5 decades of racing for the number 71. 9th place going to go to Ken Richardson. And we didn't, and Ken, I'm sorry, we didn't talk about Ken hardly any tonight. And Ken had a pretty solid run, man, to finish in the top 10. Eric Stanford in the Chef Andy's car will finish 10th. Tanner?
Yeah, Jay Queen, or also known as Ellery Queen, is going to finish in the 11th position here tonight. William Locklear will finish in 12th. Playoff contending driver not going to happen tonight. He's going to have to dig himself a little bit out of a hole to try to be in contention for that championship. Kyle Kammer, what could I say about him, man? He had a whale of a run this evening, started 4th. He was in the top 5. Connection issues and hardware, power all failed him here tonight. He'll finish in 13th. Jesse Abraham's going to finish in the 14th position. Richard Regan Jr., a contending driver in the top 5, maybe coulda, shoulda, woulda been a podium driver, but not tonight. He will finish in 15th. Alan Elwood, one of the fastest guys here tonight, made his way up into the top 10. He'll have to settle for 16th. Andrew Payne's going to finish in 17th after starting outside pole in second place. Judd Danielson's going to finish in 18th. Luis Salmasso will finish in 19th. Rounding out the top 20, Daniel Everhard, who had troubles early in the race, and Zach Nichols, who did not start the race. I think he did start the race, but he did not finish the first lap, so he'll finish in 21st.
All right, Tanner, and now it's time to talk to the winner, Andrew Farnyards. Man, you were hooked up here at Indy. What was your secret tonight?
Yeah, just a lot of practice. Actually, the NASCAR A-Fix series is here, and that produces practice sessions. And I just he'll go in there and really practice. But man, it was a hard race tonight. We didn't really expect to be the fastest car. I think Dylan had something there, but he got into the wall. I think just really a track position, and I guess that's what our secret was. Staying out front, staying with fresh tires, and we were able to get it done.
Listen, Andrew, you're the first one here, so I've got to ask you. The wind tonight was crazy on this track. What did it feel like in the car?
Actually weird in the default weather. It gets really tight into 3, and it's good in the 1. Tonight was completely opposite. The wind was pushing you down the front stretch, and you really had to check up turn 1. I'm sure you saw a lot of guys overshoot it. That was crazy. And then going down the back stretch, it was a headwind, which slowed you down, and 3 was really, really good for us tonight. Just it would slow us down enough that you could take it in a little deeper, but kind of opposite from what the default weather was.
Yeah, we saw you drive that car into 3 several times, take it in there really, really deep, especially when you were behind trying to get those positions back and back to the front. So overall, you had a great handling race car. I've got to imagine this is exactly how you plan to start this playoff run.
Lying to you if I said we didn't want to do it, but again, I thought Dylan had a better car tonight. We were just able to stay out front, and it's very hard to catch someone and pass someone here. We were very even, and once he hit the wall, we kind of just walked away with it. But yeah, definitely planned to start it. Really wasn't. I was expecting it to really be a second, third place car, but a little surprised that we were able to win, and we'll take it. And that's on to the next round. We can kind of relax the next few races.
Yeah, well, you get so that obviously it solidifies you to get to round 2. You're locked in now. You got to win. You pick up another $5 Sim Speed Shop Pole Award. Round 1, a great success. Congratulations. Now you get ready to practice for round 2 in just a couple of weeks.
Yeah, definitely. I might have to miss Martinsville, so I might have to really practice Kansas, come out there and I don't know, try to win there. But we're fortunate enough to have a big points advantage here. I think we have like 69 after tonight, something crazy like that. So truthfully, we can even afford to miss a race if these bonus points carry over, which I think they do. Don't quote me on that, but yeah, I mean, we're really just going to start practicing Kansas right off the bat. We don't really have to worry about these next 2 races. We'll come out and have fun, try to grab some stage points, but no pressure, which is really, really good to get off after leading the regular season points.
Andrew, congratulations, buddy. It was great chatting with you. Anybody want to thank real quick?
You got to say thanks to everybody in Aegis, Dylan Jones, Dave Washington, Kyle Kammer, Eric Stanford, everybody over there. You guys broadcast. I always enjoy watching it back. Had fun last week. Definitely made a good call in that race. Gary, for running the league, he actually put the AdPro playoff thing on my car. So big thank you to him and everybody for watching. I hope you enjoyed the show. It was a fun race.
All right, and that is Andrew Farnyards. And, well, we'll see him next week, I'm sure. We may even get another chance to talk to him. Tanner has caught up with Ryan Hill.
I've caught up with Ryan Hill, who finished second here tonight. And, Ryan, that was a pretty good night for you overall tonight, even though you were up and down the leaderboard. Tell me about your race tonight.
Yeah, it was definitely interesting. This is one of the – I had a real good feel with the car in practice and everything. I really felt comfortable with it. So I decided that I was actually going to try to qualify, be up front, hopefully be safe, and it turned out to be a really good, surprisingly really good race for me. Normally I just sit in the back and wait for everything to happen, but I I just came to Indy, and I felt really comfortable in practice. I've always loved this racetrack, especially with stock cars, because it takes a fine driving style to get used to it. And just besides a couple hiccups that put me back near the back end of the top 10, we were easily a top 5 car the whole race.
That is certainly great news and great confidence coming from your voice throughout the entire race, and as well here since you finished second place at Indianapolis. Talk to me a little bit about the racetrack a little bit. Today's track, I don't know if it's loose or tight or both. It looked like it was both, but that wind out there, it was gusty winds out there. How was the handling of the race car as far as going down the straightaways and in the corners of the racetrack? It just seems like everybody's kind of like all over the place. What is the cockpit, the view of the Ryan Hill part of it?
Yeah, I mean, obviously we saw that we had 20-mile-an-hour winds, which was something that you may not think, but you're in a race car or regular car, you're going to feel 20-mile-an-hour winds. I mean, just go on the interstate and get hit by wind, you're going to feel it. My biggest struggle point, which was probably everybody else's best point, was turn 1 and 2. I could get through turns 1 and 2. I just could not be fast through 1 and 2, like gain ground. And that's where all the wind was pushing you. Like if you're going into turn 1, you have that wind pushing on your left side, and it was hurting me. Going into turn 3, though, it was actually starting to get loose. Yeah, turn 1 and 2 were the tight side of the track. 3 and 4, you could easily spin the car out if you weren't careful. And for some odd reason, I would see the person in front of me. I was always gaining ground 3 and 4 the entire race, and I don't know why. It was just, I guess, my driving style better fit that end of the racetrack than it did one side of the racetrack. But that's the good thing. This track is 2.5 miles long, and I'm assuming it would be like a mile-long straightaway or very well close to it. Each end of the racetrack is going to change, and it's a blast to drive.
Looks like it's a blast to drive indeed. I just don't know if I would be like driving that kind of looseness coming off the edge of the corners. But hey, I don't want to crash any confidence that you have, because like you have a great attitude towards confidence and the ability to run up front like this here tonight. We're going to a much different kind of a racetrack, a little bit of a configuration, because the next race on the schedule is on September 6th, the Charlotte Roval. Now, I'm not sure if that's going to be the current Roval that we have here on iRacing or the new one, but nonetheless, it looks like there's a lot of unknowns walking into this race. How do you feel as a driver and a playoff contender feel about entering the Charlotte Roval race?
I'm excited for it. I'm hoping iRacing manages to release the newer version by season 3 build, which is 2 days. If iRacing releases the new one, it would be released on Tuesday. So that gives everybody essentially a day or and a half to practice on that track. The current one, from what I've seen and tested with the setup that we might be running, it's going to be really interesting going into NASCAR 3, because you can't hold it wide open. And if you do, it feels like the right front plowed the ground, and you're going to go through the wall and over the wall and probably into the Charlotte dirt track. That's how bad it plows. I'm excited for it. I love road course racing, especially in stock cars. It's an unknown that everybody is going to go into is going to have an unknown, and being a playoff driver, we just got to get behind the wheel and do the best we can, and hopefully we can come out with a win behind it.
So many unknowns coming up here for you there, Ryan, but hopefully you can conquer them both, because it's going to be Charlotte Roval, then it's Talladega. But nonetheless, you get a second place finish here tonight. It's a great start for the playoffs, and great finish here tonight. Congratulations, and best of luck to you at the Charlotte Roval.
All right, thank you.
That was Ryan Hill, folks, finishing the second position tonight after starting 8th. And Mr. Sean Ambrose, I believe you are catching up with Mr. Gary Sexton?
No, Gary left us. He had other commitments. He left us for the evening. That's all right. We'll get a chance to talk to Gary before it's all said and done with. Heck, Gary was hooked up tonight. I actually wish he would have hung around there for an interview. But Tanner, you know what? I want to remind everybody that today's race was brought to you thanks to Impact. Yes, Impact. The Impact 200 a day at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Business process optimization for growing companies. Their in-house expert teams design strategic and cost-effective solutions for information and document workflow in the workplace. Your business goals serve as a basis for their solution design. Their analysts leverage a unique mix of process improvement methodologies and technology to achieve organizational efficiency. Go check out their website, impactmybiz.com. AdPro 360, that is our title sponsor. AdPro 360, an advertising agency specializing in digital and social media marketing. For more information, go to adproresults.com. Of course, we want to thank the Simulated Stock Car Association. To everyone at the SSCA for organizing the AdPro 360 Cup Series and contracting with GSRC to broadcast it. On the screen now are just some of the company's equipment and software that made this broadcast possible. Of course, the iconic original music that you always hear here, that is thanks to Erica Colm and June Lalonde. See the screen for how to contact each of them. Now, the SSCA Cup Series returns in 2 weeks, September 6th for race number 2 in round 1 of the playoffs from Charlotte Motor Speedway. Yes, the Roval. I think we're going to have the existing Roval. I don't think there's any big revelation there. Get ready for the Roval at Charlotte. GSRC will be there to bring you all the action. We hope you join us. Sliding across your screen now are some of the upcoming broadcasts we've got coming here on GSRC. We've got a really busy weekend coming up, folks. Stay tuned. So check those out. Mark them down on your calendar. If you'd like more information about GSRC, including a complete list of future broadcasts, well, you can find us on our website at globalsimracingchannel.com. We're also on Twitter at GSR Channel, Facebook at Global Sim Racing Channel. We're on Instagram. That's GSRC_Graham. All right, now the big thing is subscribe. Hit that subscribe button. You'll get a notification when the next GSRC race is coming up. Finally, on behalf of the crew, Tanner Sharp, our director Joe Peak, and our camera artist Dougie Beard, I'd like to thank all of you for watching tonight. So until next time, race clean, race hard, and we'll see you on the track.